What up, YouTube? Mile High Campers coming back at you again with another video. And today we've got an exciting video for you. This is probably my favorite video in the boat project playlist. Today we are going to be doing a partial vinyl wrap on the exterior of the boat. I'm super excited about it because it really changed the entire look of the boat and it really came out great. Also, make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video because we're going to be doing a complete recap of everything that we did to this boat, and I'm going to show you the final pictures of how it turned out. Be sure to check out the description, guys, because I'm going to list all the materials that I'm using today. And also check out the links to our store and check out the cool stickers, hats, and shirts we've got on there. Now, some of you out there may be wondering, well, what is a vinyl wrap? And basically what it is we're going to take a piece of vinyl sticker that is made for exterior use on vehicles as well as boats, and we're going to stick it to the side of the boat in order to change the color. Now, wraps are sometimes used to change the color like we're going to do today, and some people use wraps to actually protect the gel coat on a boat or to protect the paint on a vehicle. The vinyl I chose for this project today is going to be an Avery vinyl, and it's called Blue Diamond. A key component going into this installation of the vinyl wrap is going to be this Knifeless Tape that I have here, and I'll show you what that's going to do later on, but this is huge. This really helped in the install a lot in several different places. And then we're also going to be using this crystal clear seam tape in order to make a watertight seam for our vinyl that could potentially touch the water. Alright, let's jump into this video. Okay, first step here is going to be to lay the knifeless tape down, which you can see here. It's the thin green line. The knifeless tape represents the line where I want the vinyl to end. The vinyl will go up to a piece of trim, which you will see later. The vinyl will be installed over the knifeless tape. Then we will use the knifeless tape to cut the vinyl, therefore eliminating the need to use an X-Acto knife, which could damage the gel coat and or paint if you're installing this on a vehicle. First things first, I went ahead and I wiped down the entire boat with denatured alcohol. Some people also like to use isopropyl alcohol. You can use that as well. I want to get the surface nice and clean so that the vinyl has a nice clean surface to stick to. Here I'm going to be doing a technique called embossing. You don't have to do this for a regular wrap if you don't want to. This was just something extra I wanted to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an extra thick piece of vinyl and I'm going to lay it down before I do the wrap because I want that shape to emboss through the wrap. You'll see what it'll look like at the end. But again, this is an unnecessary step. You don't have to do this. This is just another little technique that you could do if you want to. I'll be using the Hinge Method, like I've talked about in some of my previous videos, where I put a piece of tape down the center of the vinyl, and therefore we can make a hinge and it will be able to lay the vinyl down really nice without any bubbles. And then I'm going to take my squeegee, start in the middle, and work my way up and down, gradually applying the vinyl and the transfer mask to the surface of the boat. And then I'm going to go back over it and squeegee it down really well, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Now I'm just removing the backing paper from the transfer mask on the vinyl. I chose to use a little flame pattern here since I went with flames on the inside on the dash. Then I'll remove the transfer mask, and all that's left that will be on the side of the boat is the vinyl. Before we get into the next step, let's talk a little bit about our wrapping vinyl. I chose an Avery Diamond Supreme wrapping film. The unique features of this vinyl are: it has excellent conformability around curves and body lines. It has easy apply adhesive technology that allows for a bubble-free installation. Simply put, the adhesive is designed with channels or grooves to allow air to escape, and this is what makes the wrapping vinyl unique. It has good durability, requires no laminating, and is designed for a long-term installation with easy removability. The vinyl comes from the manufacturer in a 60-inch width. Typically, the vinyl is sold by the foot. I ordered 20 feet for the boat, meaning 60 inches wide by 20 feet long. I've noticed that a lot of wrap installers overlap a lot of their material, and they appear to be wasting a large amount of vinyl when they do their installations. I'm a little old school and a little cheap. All I want to accomplish on our wrap is to cover some of the white and all of the teal stripe. Therefore, all I really need is a 15-inch by 20-foot piece of vinyl. So instead of using the full 60 inches per side and wasting a lot of vinyl, I'm thinking what I want to do is cut down the 60 inches to 3 20-inch by 20-foot pieces. This sounds harder than it is. If you roll the vinyl out and then flip it over, you will find that there is a grid printed on the backing paper. Now just measure out what you want and cut along the line. This smaller 20-inch by 20-foot size should also be much easier to install. Alright, we've got our knifeless tape down, guys, and I ran it all the way across the bottom just like we did on the other side. I did not like the way the top trimmed out, so I decided to run the knifeless tape along right before the silicone there, and I'm hoping I'll get a cleaner edge. It may not work. If it doesn't work, no big deal. I'll just pull it out from underneath the vinyl, so not a huge deal. Then I got my tape right here in the front to create a straight seam there, which we'll come back and use some seam tape. But as you can see, got it running. All the way down. We got a real nice edge out of the bottom on the other side. So I'm hoping we can kind of duplicate that up here. Alright, you may need help when it comes to the next step. Basically what I've done here is I've took my 20-inch by 20-foot piece and I've taped it up to the side of the boat, roughly where I want to position it so that I can start. And hopefully you can see I've given it a little bit of overlap on the top and the bottom from where I want the vinyl to end, but not too much overlap. We're going to use the hinge method, and here you can see I'm taking the vinyl back and I'm going to hinge it right there where the blue tape is, toward the back of the wakeboard tower. And what I'm going to do is peel the backing paper off. And this can be kind of tricky because the piece is so long. And that's why it's good to have help. I'm going to have my son hold the vinyl while I peel off the backing paper. Once you get the backing paper to the hinge, go ahead and tear it off. Unfortunately for us, the wind picked up right here and blew our tape loose on the bottom. Don't panic if this happens. This vinyl is pretty forgiving. My son was able to go and reattach the piece of tape. And then what I'm doing here is I'm stretching the vinyl. I'm really pulling on it fairly tight. And as you can see, I've got some horizontal wrinkles there, but that's okay. What you don't want to have is vertical wrinkles. You can have a few horizontal wrinkles and you should be able to get those out. But as you can see, I re-stretch it to try to really pull any wrinkles that I might have out. And as you can see, I come back here and adjust it again to try to kind of stretch it out to where we only have a few, if any, horizontal wrinkles in the vinyl. Now I'm just going to work from the middle up and down with my squeegee. And I'm using a special squeegee here. You don't really have to use a special squeegee. This particular squeegee that I'm using has felt over the end, but you could also wrap a paper towel around a squeegee if you needed to. And then I'm just going to work it up and down. This vinyl stretches quite a bit. It never broke on me, so you can pull on it pretty good without having to worry about it tearing. And I'm just going to slowly work it. Use the heat gun to go over my embossing design, the flames, and I'm just going to use my finger and the squeegee to push the vinyl down around that. Right now I'm squeegeeing up to the piece of molding that goes across the center of the boat, and I'm squeegeeing down toward the body line. And I'm pulling on the top and I'm pulling on the bottom, and it doesn't matter because we've got some overlap, so we don't need to worry about straight lines. But that's how I'm able to get out any horizontal wrinkles that are in the vinyl. And then just use my thumb to push out any bubbles. And surprisingly enough, you can really work out the bubbles. This is going down so far without any bubbles. Here you can get a good picture of what the embossing looks like. Once again, just go ahead and run your fingers over the edges to push out any bubbles. But it looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to lift up the bottom and work the vinyl down below that body line and over our knifeless tape. That subtle thin line right there is our knifeless tape. Alright, now we're going to start the other side by removing the backing paper. Once again, I'm going to stretch the vinyl as tight as I can around the front bow of the boat. If I do get any wrinkles, I want them to be horizontal so that I can pull them out. We do not want vertical wrinkles. No need to panic if the vinyl does fall upon itself like it has here. It does have the easy release, so we will be able to get it unstuck. And we'll just go ahead and continue the same process as we did before. Going to go ahead and stretch it. Won't worry too much about those horizontal wrinkles because we'll be able to get those out. Here I'm using the heat gun to adhere the vinyl to our knifeless tape, so we create a good bond. When you install the knifeless tape, you want a piece of it to hang out past the vinyl. There's a little piece of string inside the tape, and we need to get that out, and once we start to pull on that, we'll pull it evenly down the side of the boat and it should give us a straight line. Now we can move the excess vinyl and then come back and squeegee down the edge just to make sure it's adhered good to the side of the boat. Moving to the front of the boat, we went ahead and overlapped our vinyl when we installed this. We also had our knifeless tape, and as you can see, it made a perfect seam. Moving on to the back of the boat, we had to use what I believe they call an inlay, where we actually had to take a second piece of vinyl and seam it together with the first piece of vinyl. Here's what it looks like once it's seamed together, and there is an overlap on the seam because vinyl does have a tendency to shrink when it gets warm. And now to seal that seam, we're going to be using crystal clear seam tape. I used the crystal clear seam tape along the bottom edge of the vinyl all the way around the boat, along the two seams in the back, and along the seam on the front. To add a little bit to the design, I want to go ahead and add a piece of vinyl into this body line right here. So I went ahead and I laid my knifeless tape down so that I don't have to use an X-Acto blade to cut out the shape. Because this vinyl is so easy to work with, I'm not going to use the hinge method. I'm going to go ahead and stick one side of the vinyl down, and then I'm going to pull it and stretch it nice and tight so we don't have any vertical wrinkles. And then I'm just going to go ahead and squeegee the middle down first, and then just work my way to each end. Squeegeeing middle out, up and down, and then being sure to squeegee over our knifeless tape. Now I'm going to use the knifeless tape to cut the shape. And then we'll come back and remove the vinyl. I'm going to squeegee the edge down really well. Then I'm going to come back and lay our crystal clear seam tape around the edge. Here I'm just reattaching a trim piece. Now I was able to wrap this, guys, but it was really hard and I didn't videotape it because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it. Sorry I wasn't able to get that part on video, guys. Alright guys, well that's a wrap. The boat project is finally finished, and let's just kind of go over the transformation. If this is your first time tuning in, guys, be sure to check out the playlist on our boat project. We've got a ton of videos on all the projects we did to this boat. As some of you may remember, this picture right here is a pic of the boat the day I bought it. And as you can see, it's in okay shape, but it definitely needs some TLC. Here's a shot of the bow, and you can see the cracks in the vinyl there. Here's a shot of the dash, and you can see how everything's sun faded. Speedometer you can hardly read, doesn't even work. Here you can see the tears in the seat and the white duct tape covering up the tears in the backrest and the side panels. And this is what the gel coat looked like when I first picked it up. It was pretty dull. A lot of the pinstripes were faded and chipping. And as you can see, there was a lot of swirl marks, scuff marks from the previous owner where they had tried to wax the boat and then never removed the wax. Overall, it wasn't horrible, but it definitely needed some TLC for sure. There's some more scuff marks from the wax. As always, guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. Please be sure to check out all the other videos we have on this playlist. And be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Peace!